Hello, everybody. Here we are, episode 6. 6, right? I can still count, Dill. Am I counting right?
I believe that's right.
Yep. And that, of course, is Dill. And then the laugh you just heard, who is that?
Oh, it's the Dingo Man, Jared.
The Dingo Man, Jared. He said it himself.
He decided to show up finally.
Yeah, finally. Here he is, live and in person. Here at the MCM podcast. Thanks for everyone coming in. You know who we are. I'm your host, of course. And so let's kick things off. Jared, since we haven't heard from you in a while, what have you been up to?
Well, I'm back at work, and I just picked up another job because times are tough. So, yeah, I've been a bit busy, but it feels good to be out and about and been seeing family the last weekend. Like, I haven't seen them since before COVID-19. We've been having laughs, drinking a lot of alcohol, and I'm starting to develop a tolerance for alcohol, which isn't a good sign.
Yeah. Speaking of which, right before this started, I heard you open a beer.
Ooh.
Sadly, yeah, that is an alcoholic drink in my hand right now.
Yep. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Cheers. I'm right here with you. I've got a stiff whiskey drink with me. So, Dill, what have you been up to?
Apparently, I got a free trial for HBOmax since I use AT&T.
You have AT&T. Do you get the AT&T Watch TV?
Watch TV. If we do, we don't use it.
Okay, because if you have unlimited. For anyone out there, if you have AT&T unlimited data, you get streaming cable network shows or live network like cable networks. You just have to go sign up for it at AT&T Watch TV.
I just want to clarify, we are not currently being sponsored by AT&T right now, but we are trying.
Yeah. Well, as much as we've dogged HBOmax, I don't think anybody believes we will be sponsored.
Constructive criticism, man.
Constructive criticism. Yeah,
That's what we're trying to get paid for.
Yeah. And I'm not saying we're going to talk about them today because we might just do that. But anyway, here we are, episode 6, MCM podcast. If you want to get in touch with us in any way, shape, or form, you go to mcmdebates.com. There is a button there at the top of the screen. You can go ahead and click on that, submit your questions, thoughts, concerns, or ideas. There's a lot of articles there, some stuff written by people in the forum. Of course, all these podcasts you can find linked there. And then there's a lot of different forums just for general talk. So that getting out of the way, let's go right into it. Let's get right into the questions. So here's some of the questions we've had from our audience. And the first one is from Donald, and he wants to know, would you rather have a third Batman movie with Keaton and Burton as the director, or the fourth Dark Knight movie with Bale and Nolan? Let's go ahead and ask you there, Jared. What do you think?
Hands down, another Nolan film. I didn't really grow up with the Keaton movies, and I'm not saying they didn't appeal to me, but I would love to see Christian Bale's Batman again.
What about you, Dale? What do you think?
I'm going to go the opposite way. I feel like The Dark Knight Rises. I feel like The Dark Knight Rises is a very good ending to the trilogy. I've had ideas for where I would go after it, but it would mainly feel like an epilogue. You know, it wouldn't really feel like a finale. Whereas with the Burton movies, I think you can really take a good third movie, bring back Burton, bring back Keaton, and do something really meaningful to that, to those other two films with them, more so than you would do with the Nolan fourth movie.
What if the fourth Nolan movie was like introduction, like a passing of the baton sort of thing?
I'm not that interested in the John Blake. Initially, I was like, man, it'd be cool if, you know, John Blake gets in over his head. Christian Bale's Batman has to come back in a mentor role. I'm not that interested in that anymore. I don't know. Maybe you are. I don't find the appeal to it in the world that Nolan built.
I can't remember. He calls himself Robin, right? At some point, like towards the end.
Yeah, his real first name is Robin. So it's Robin John Blake.
I like the aspect that he was just this guy that had some connection to Bruce Wayne. That was enough for me. As far as becoming the next Batman, I didn't really care for that personally.
I'm going to have to side with Dill on this one. I feel like The Dark Knight Rises was a perfect bookend to a story that Nolan actually thought out and had planned ahead. That was his arc. That's what he wanted to do. In bringing Bale back, I don't see how that would work. So what would I do with Keaton and Burton? What I'd like to see is the rumors have been going around about a Batman Beyond. I think it could work that way. But with Burton as a director, I don't know. But, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. I'd rather see that just because I think it would disrespect the bookend that Nolan did with The Dark Knight Rises. Next question from NVB. DC scripted Spotify shows. He wants to know, do you think DC will hire actors/actresses to voice DC characters for the scripted Spotify shows? Example he has is John Hamm as Batman, maybe? Let's go ahead and let's kick off with that one. What do you think, Dill? We'll start with you. What do you think with that?
I think that's a good possibility. You'll get some bigger, or at least semi-big names come in and do stuff like that. As you do see a lot of those actors. They will step down. They will do small indie ventures and stuff. They will help out up and coming stuff. So like small stuff like that, there's going to be a good bit of fanfare for it as well. I see that as a high possibility in VB. I'll pass it on to Jared, see what he thinks about that.
First off, for the informationally illiterate, is a scripted Spotify show like a table read sort of thing?
So you didn't even listen to the last episode, huh? So
Traitor.
Yeah.
Exposed.
Yeah. So last episode, Spotify has signed a deal with DC to do scripted shows, which Spotify is an audio app to listen to music and podcasts. So there's going to do DC-centered podcasts, which are going to be like narrative dramas, like radio dramas from like the 40s, 50s on Spotify.
Oh, hell yeah. I whenever I go like on a walk or a hike, I'll often listen to a podcast. That'd be pretty cool, actually. Like sort of high form entertainment.
Yeah. Well, so the question, do you think, is they'll hire Hollywood actors for this?
I mean, I guess it depends on a lot of factors, like how often and how much are they getting paid. Like, is it worth it? But I honestly, if it's just a really cool voice,
yeah,
I probably wouldn't care too much, to be honest.
My 2 cents is I would rather have them hire some voice actors like Laura Bailey, like Ashley Johnson, like Troy Baker. Of you probably don't even know who I'm talking about, but there's some voice actors. It's like John Hamm doesn't need money. Let's throw some work towards some of these voice actor stuff, like Sam Samuel from Dragon Ball. Some of these guys that want to do something different, and they've been typecast into he's only Goku. Throw some bones their way. I'd rather see them hire new talent, up and coming talent, or known voice talent, rather than hear John Hamm or whoever, some actor that's going to come in and say, oh, you want me to record for 5 hours? Okay, yeah, sure, I'll show that. How many millions you going to pay me? I'd rather hear a guy that's like, oh, yeah, I'm really into voice acting. I'd love to do this. Here's some of my work. Here's some of the video game, anime, cartoons, and things that I've done. I'm all about it. So that's what I'd rather say.
I agree. Give it to somebody who's passionate about voice acting.
Yep. All right, next part of his question is, do you think they could use already existing scripts of movies that were not even made, or even adapt comic book storylines like Kingdom Come or for the shows? Dill, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. Go ahead, and what do you think?
I mean, this would be a great platform. Big movies that never did get made, like Paul Greengrass's Watchmen, that was very, 9/11 war on terror centric instead of placed in the 80s, right? Then you had Darren Aronofsky's Year One. That's always piqued a lot of people's interest. And then you got David S. Goyer's Escape from Supermax, which everybody says was a great script. I would like to see, if they do it, this is a great platform for it. They don't have to commit to making it. They don't have to commit to spending all the money. They just have to have a cast of people sit and read it, right?
What about you, Jared?
Well, I remember hearing that Joe Rogan is shifting to Spotify at the end of the year. I just wonder if they're going to be upgrading their app, and then maybe, who knows, it's going to be even more mainstream than it already was. I reckon in the future it could be used to like help market a film. You could talk about a film, like when you get like a DVD release and you have like your special features.
Are you saying instead of like a prequel comic book, they could do a prequel podcast?
Not necessarily, just like a production crew talking about the film leading up to its release.
Well, Larry, that's pretty interesting idea. Like the Dr. Pepper comics they did for Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, well, they even did it for Man of Steel with the Supergirl comic.
Yeah, like they have that stuff with a few of the cast members, the actual movie cast members doing the voice. Mm-hmm. That'd be a pretty good marketing strategy. I'd say.
Yeah.
It's and a good story expansion too if they actually put the writing into it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's keep going. Next question is from Donald. And Donald wants to know Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers? Which of these two franchises deserve another shot at becoming a big screen trilogy? So who's going to be a big screen trilogy? Who deserves it more? Go ahead, Jared. What do you think?
Well, Ninja Turtles is probably more expensive to make. I reckon Power Rangers, like, it could work really well in that kind of format. I haven't seen the latest film. I remember hearing it was pretty, I don't know, controversial, or it didn't make a lot of money. But I loved the Power Rangers as a kid, and I would love to see like maybe even like a cinematic universe. Like that would be pretty sick.
Yeah, I liked the last Power Rangers movie. I think the cast was really great. Some of the tone they didn't quite. That's the tone of it is where I think the movie was shaky. But I think they had two good tones to the movie. If they could have found a way to fine tune that, the movie would have appealed to more
Yep.
people. But so yeah, I would say give that movie a chance. Give it a sequel. Try to build a trilogy out of it. I think there's enough world building that they had that they could build upon. And yeah, again, the cast was great. I think that would be my choice. I mean, we've already
Okay.
had like the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Bay Ninja Turtles. I would say give the Power Rangers a chance.
Yeah. Well, so to caveat off that, I'm going to totally go ahead and do a 180 on this and say if you're going to do a Power Ranger movie, if that's what you want to do, and you want to make it a more serious tone and set it in something that could appeal to a broader audience, just do Voltron. It's the same thing. It's guys that are fighting, and then they get into different mechanical lions to form a big giant robot and fight monsters. But it's set in almost like Star Wars in a galaxy far, far away. You could actually easier to do that than to try and set it on Earth with teenagers and all this. Just set it in another universe. Make it Voltron. If that's what you want to do, like people fighting and stuff like that, like getting trained and then learning how to use giant mechanized robots to make another giant mechanized robot, just go that direction. That's my 2 cents.
Have either of you seen Zoids?
No, I've seen a bit of Voltron. I have a base knowledge of it, but I've never seen Zoids.
Yeah. Everything's a ripoff. If it's about smaller robots joining to make a giant robot, it's a ripoff of Voltron.
Yeah, Voltron's a good move. I would say I'd be very interested in that, Larry.
Yeah, everyone out there, look up Voltron. You don't know what Voltron is? Look that up, and you'll be like, oh, well, that's how you can make a Power Rangers movie that's not a Power Rangers movie. Yeah, all right. Next question from NVB again, who wants us to rank the DCEU movies.
Oh, boy.
Please rank these. Thank you, and God bless. Dill, you want to read out the movies that we have right here for us?
Man of Steel from 2013, Batman vs. Superman 2016, Suicide Squad 2016, Wonder Woman 2017, Justice League 2017, Aquaman 2018, Shazam 2019, and Birds of Prey 2020.
So, Jared, how would you rank these movies?
Yeah, I'm not going to drag this out. So Man of Steel, number 1 for sure. Batman vs Superman. Actually, this is actually. I'm going to say Wonder Woman. I enjoyed that movie. I saw that and I was feeling all kinds of emotions. It was a nice story, although the ending was a bit lackluster. Anyway, so that'd be the third choice, and then I'd probably go Suicide. They're all kind of crappy. Suicide Squad, Shazam, Aquaman. I haven't seen Birds of Prey, but I can put it before Justice League. And, Justice League at the very end, because it's trash.
Dill, what's your opinion?
I could go back and forth with Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, but I would go right now, this moment, Man of Steel. And then Batman vs. Superman. And then I would say a toss-up between Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman. I haven't seen Shazam, so I guess Aquaman, then Justice League after it. I don't know. Both of those I didn't really care much for.
Yep. So when I went into this, I asked myself the question, which of these movies would I want to see again? If you asked me, which of these movies do you want to see again, that's how I ranked them. So first is Man of Steel. The second was Batman v Superman. The third was Wonder Woman. The fourth was Shazam. The 5th was Suicide Squad. The 6th was Birds of Prey, and the 7th was Aquaman. I didn't even put Justice League on there because I wouldn't want to watch it again.
Uh,
Yeah.
to me, like I really enjoyed Wonder Woman,
Yep.
but I haven't revisited it since the theater.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I'd
Same.
want to watch Birds of Prey again before Wonder Woman.
I haven't actually watched Man vs Superman since August 2016, right before I saw Suicide Squad. Like, I'm talking from beginning to end.
How dare you?
It's such a big movie. It's a lot to digest, and I don't really want to sit down for 2.5 hours.
It's too smart for you. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Way too intelligent.
It's too deep for you. Yeah, but that's the way I ranked them, and it's not. It was in an order of which of these would you want to see more again, and I get what you're saying, Dill, but still, to me, I haven't seen Wonder Woman in a while, so I'd rather see that again. I saw Birds of Prey, and I was satisfied with it, and if I was going to watch Birds of Prey again, I'd rather see Suicide Squad before that, and
do you
I
need
thought
to see Suicide Squad beforehand? Because I haven't.
We need to
watched
see
it
the
for-
Ira cut before we see Birds of Prey.
Well, a lot of people rag, and I agree with a lot of the criticisms, but I still had fun with Suicide Squad. The charm that it has for me, the appeal that it has for me, was that feeling of finally we're seeing a cinematic DC universe, and they're talking about Superman, and they're talking about Batman, and Batman even shows up, and all this. And it was the thing that's what made it special for me, is it was bringing the universe together with the characters that I love, and they're not even in the movie. So
I love that it's a step away from the big guys like Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
To me, how they handled Superman in the movie was better than cast of characters they had.
Yeah.
And I think that's more due to the editing down of their interactions more than the actual writing and directing and of the movie.
The best part of the movie is before they go into the city to stop it. That's why I like the movie. Everything before they go in the city to stop the giant light in the sky, I like. All right, next question. Last question before we get in the main topics. From Bateman Beyond. He wants to know, would you guys join a Zack Snyder OnlyFans page? What about you?
No.
Nope. I don't think I would, because I know, even though I like Snyder's movies, I still criticize his movies, and the first thing would happen would be I would be kicked out.
His Vero page is basically his OnlyFans, and that's free.
Yeah. So there you go. Join Vero if you want to go to a Zack Snyder OnlyFans page. All right, so now that we've wrapped everything up, we're going to go into some of the topics, some of the big things that's happened over this week. We're going to talk about how Tenet was delayed. We're going to talk about Evil Dead 4 a little bit. We're going to talk about HBOmax is bringing back some of these movies they said they don't want to get rid of because of the backlash. And finally, we're going to talk about Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins, she's not quite sure if she wants to do this or not. Maybe she doesn't know. Tenet has been delayed. And this is what you were talking about at the opening there, Jared. It's been delayed. It was all this push. Christopher Nolan said it's going to come out in July. He wants it to be July. It's moved from July 31st to August 12th due to a spike in COVID-19 cases. And there's been a statement from Warner Brothers. Dill, could you read that for me?
Warner Brothers is committed to bringing Tenet to audiences in theaters, on the big screen when exhibitors are ready and public officials say it's time. At this moment, what we need to be is flexible, and we are not treating this as a traditional movie release. We are choosing to open the movie midweek to allow audiences to discover the film in their own time. And we plan to play longer, over an extended play period far beyond the norm, to develop a very different yet successful release strategy.
Yep. To me, that's saying is we want to make money off this, so we're going to leave it in the theater for like 6 months.
Yeah.
That's what it says. What's your reaction to this, Jared? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm actually just excited to see how it pans out for them. Because if it's successful, it just might change how they release films in the future. But I'm not surprised by this. I don't think it's going to get delayed anymore, though. I think this is the final last push, and they're just going to give it a crack.
Yep. Dill, what's your thoughts?
think New York's decision to not open up the theaters is probably the main reason that this happened. Because, they're opening up in California, they're pretty much opening up everywhere else. But New York is a pretty big market, from New York City alone. I believe that's the main. I think it's, like you said, I think it's more about the money and this successful release strategy, right? But I am very interested if how much money they make off this movie.
Yep.
I don't think it's really going to change how movies necessarily change how movies are released later on, because this is pretty specific circumstances that it's coming out on. So I don't think this is something that textbook is gonna jot down and say, hey, this is how we need to release movies from now on. But I think it is going to be important for the streaming service versus theatrical release.
Well, we'll see. Like we said before, streaming services have a finite income. Hollywood theatrical releases do not. So
yeah, if
we'll see.
This movie makes a lot of money, then it's going to be a long while before streaming services take over entirely from the theatrical market, right?
Yeah. All right. So let's keep going on this subject. The Hollywood Reporter also reports that Disney is expected to move Mulan, which was July 24th. They're expected to do that. They've already said that they're not going to reopen, or they've postponed the reopening of their parks for July 17th, especially because California said they won't even offer guidelines until July 4th. So they're not going to do it. Sources have said that WB and Nolan are taking their cues from the exhibition community in pushing from the film to August 12th. So they're going to look at how everything's going on, because right now the sentiment is being outside in a crowd, as long as you're spaced apart, isn't that bad. So they're going to look at that and see what they're going to do. Nolan had been very adamant in his desire to have the upcoming film released in July, but Warner Brothers was kind of cautious. There was all this stuff about, Nolan has all this power over Warner Brothers. Well, now we see Warner Brothers ultimately won in the end. It's also been confirmed that Warner Brothers will re-release Inception on July 17th.
No.
Oh, no, that's been moved. Yeah, it's been moved from July 17th to July 31st. So fans of Nolan will be able to see his films if that date holds. So, like I was saying in the last podcast, they need to warm audiences up to go into the theaters before they actually release new movies. This brings us to the question from NVB, who said, is it possible no new movies will be released in theaters for the remainder of the year? Tenet continues to be pushed back. Will Nolan walk away from Tenet if it's not released?
I wouldn't say that would happen, because I don't think Warner Brothers is going to fully pull Tenet. If it does go to streaming services first, it'll go back into theaters next year. I guarantee, because they don't want to lose Nolan. They don't want to lose, and he's going to fight to put it out into the theaters, right?
Yeah.
But if they just pulled it from theaters completely, I would say that would definitely make Nolan want to look to somebody else. And the only other studio he's actually worked with in a major capacity is Paramount on Interstellar. So that would be an option, I guess. I don't think it'll come to that.
Yeah, they've got a long-standing history. I don't know. I think they'll open. They're going to have to, or the theater industry is going to collapse. And will he walk away? No, of course not. They're going to give him money. Like they're in debt. What did we say? Like $160-something billion.
It was $162 billion.
Yeah, they'll add a 3 to that just to keep Nolan around. Yeah. All right. So number 2, Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell reveals the official title. Bruce Campbell revealed the new official title for Evil Dead 4 is Evil Dead Rise. And in an interview with Diabolic, He says, the official name is Evil Dead Rise. We're getting a new draft in. I don't know if anything will happen until next year, 2021, because of everything that's going on. We're very excited about it. A whole new ball game. No more cabin in the woods. So they're moving away from that traditional cabin in the woods, standalone, very contained story. He's previously stated that an upcoming sequel would not see the return of his character, so if you're a fan of Ash Williams, don't expect to see him again. And it would be a more dynamic entity focused on a female protagonist, seeming to follow the blood-spattered footsteps of, like I said in the last podcast, the 2013 reboot, which I kind of enjoyed. Jared, do you have any thoughts on this? You Evil Dead fan?
No, and maybe this film might change that, but yeah, I'm probably not going to check it out. I didn't check out the other films, and I feel like it's too late to get involved in something like that. It's a zombie movie, right? Like, it's just zombies. Or is it like...
It's not really zombies. It's more of, it's Deadites. You have to watch it. You have to see it. You have to watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 from the 80s with Sam Raimi's. He directed those movies. You have to watch those. And then I saw them when I was a kid because we had Showtime or HBO. I forget which one. And I was staying up late one night and I saw Evil Dead and I was like, oh, that's a cool movie. And then I didn't sleep the rest of the night.
So I've only seen the first movie, but they're more demonic corpses.
Yeah, demonic to the point of even possessing the person after they die. They possess them when they're alive, and then you kill them, and they're still possessed.
Let me
and they shit talk.
Let me run this question by it.
Yeah.
If you say you enjoyed Ash Williams' cameos in the Spider-Man films, would you enjoy Evil Dead just for him alone? Because I really like his characters.
You would,
he plays in
if that's the case, if you really enjoyed Bruce Campbell's performances just for his cameos, I would say you would really like Ash versus the Evil Dead series that was on Stars here in the U.S. I don't know if it was there in Australia. So I would think you would enjoy that more than the movies, but in order to understand what the hell's going on, you'd have to see the movies first. Because that character really doesn't come out until Army of Darkness.
I recently saw this
Yeah.
horror film called The Nun, and I was with the mate watching it, and he was calling out these characters that he'd seen in other films called The Conjuring, and I just thought, oh crap, I've missed out on a whole lot of introductions here.
Yeah, give them a watch. If you enjoyed Sam Raimi's direction, I think you'll enjoy that because you'd be amazed at how much they accomplished on such a low budget, even for that time period.
Yeah,
they did a really good job. Go ahead, Dale.
Essentially, you could skip the first movie.
Yeah.
Since the second movie recaps the entire first film.
Yep.
Does his brother make an appearance in the movies? Sam Raimi's brother?
I think he does in the first one. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember. But the second movie, like Dill just said, the opening of the second movie is kind of like a retcon or reboot of the first movie. So you don't even have to see the first movie to know what's going on because they kind of retcon reboot, kind of this weird mashup of the two in the second movie.
So Larry, I saw this kind of I guess theory essentially, and it was talking about how the tonality of the movies change, right? Specifically with how the Deadites are presented.
Mm-hmm.
The dude surmised that since between Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2, he spends all this time being tortured by the Deadites, that essentially the more he spends time with them, the less imposing and evil they seem, and the more on his level they become. And so by the third movie, that's why everybody is as wacky as he is.
So basically they've built a morbid type of friendship.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how he kind of puts it.
Yeah. Kind of like Batman and Joker.
Yeah. Or it's like this symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. Okay. It seems like we've reached the point of that. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm a big fan of the series. I love the movies. I love the Ash versus Evil Dead series. I wish it could keep going. I even like the reboot from 2013. I'm looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and get... I got something to say, Dill?
Do you know is Sam Raimi even involved in this
upcoming movie? Yes, he is a producer. He's not a director. He's a producer. He's involved in the writing process, and he's a producer. That's all I know.
That was it.
All right, yeah. So for number 3, HBO Max has seen the backlash, I guess, and decided to extend the availability of some of the DC movies, which include Justice League, Wonder Woman, and some others. So, like I said, following the blowback or the pushback from the pulls of DC movies, like, what's going on? You own the rights to these movies. Why are you pulling them off your service? So they're bringing them back, but it's only until December. So right now they're bringing them back at what they were going to be pulled off until July the 1st, but now they're staying until December. So, Dill, you want to go ahead and read through the movies that we have that are staying?
Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad, Superman the movie, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Wonder Woman as well, and then there will be the 2 movies coming July 1st that'll stay till December as well. There's Superman Unbound and Watchmen.
Jared, what's your thoughts on this?
IGN, they said citing popular demand, etc., etc. To me, that says that they were just going to cut these films off with no near intention of bringing them back. Like, some of these films here are like classics. I don't understand it.
Well, the Superman films are coming. They were never there to begin with. All the Batman films, the 89 Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, those are still leaving. So to replace those, they're putting in the Superman movies.
Were they going to be going somewhere else, or?
I'm not sure. I just know they were leaving the service.
I mean, I think it's part of the cyclical streaming nature where, you lose some, you get some back. But yep. I think the problem was that these were leaving almost as soon as the service came up.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
They were like only there for a month.
And if you want to compare apples to apples, if you want to say, Disney Plus to HBO Max, Disney's movies, as soon as they get them, they're not going anywhere. The deals that are signed with HBO, we don't know what they are. Like Batman Mask of the Phantasm, that's going to be on Netflix this month or next month. Yeah, it comes out it's not going to be on HBO. They don't even have it. They don't have Netflix has the rights to it. So they're still trying to work that out. And then you have the question is, where's The Dark Knight? Where's Man of Steel? That hasn't even been brought up. You have series like Smallville, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, all the CW stuff. Like, they own the rights to this. What is the problem? Is it contracts? It seems to me like HBO Max came about when AT&T bought them before they thought it through all the way.
As much as Disney today gives me stomach pains, I love that the streaming app Disney Plus, it feels like a home because all its movies are on there, and there doesn't seem to be any indication that they're leaving. Like, you can just go back, watch some of your favorites as a kid whenever you want. I
agree with you there, Jared. It seems to me that Disney had a plan that they thought out over a period of time, and then AT&T, it's more of this knee-jerk stuff. Everyone was like, "Oh, there's a new sheriff in town. AT&T's going to straighten things out." But now that HBO Max is here, it seems like more of the same. Oh, we'll release the Snyder Cut, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's because we did stuff online." No, it's because COVID-19 came around. They're like, "We need content. Bring some content in. Bring that stuff back." They're desperate for content. They don't know what they're doing. They've already had these contracts in place, and now I want to know, how much did they spend to keep these? There's all these questions of, okay, this was supposed to come to Netflix, or this was supposed to come to XYZ, to Cinemax or Showtime or whatever. So did they pay those guys? Did they say, "Oh, you can keep it longer if we can have it till December"? Like, there's all these questions of what's going on.
What gets me is that they have like a higher control of like the Criterion collection than they do of their own film slates.
Yes. Which was one of the reasons that I was happy to be upgrading, because like I said, I've said in the past, I had HBO Now. I have HBO Max, and I spend most of my time watching Ghibli Studio films and the Crichton Collection. That's what I use it for the most. And, of course, HBO Originals. To me, it kind of makes I'm getting caught up on Doom Patrol right now. And I'm enjoying that.
Is that any good?
I like it. I enjoy it. It's kind of goofy. The third episode is what really kind of nailed it down for me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like this show. Because I was kind of unsure. But then when it got to episode 3, I'm like, yeah, I like it.
That's not the citywide orgasm, is it?
No. No, this is the one. It's kind of like a confronting the bad guy type thing. And it was kind of like when they go from zeros to kind of heroes. Number 4. Okay, so Wonder Woman 3, Patty Jenkins says she has hit the pause on the DC sequel. This comes to us from Total Film Magazine off BatmanNews.com. Jenkins spoke about how COVID-19 has compelled her to stop and reassess her future plans for the DC film franchise, which includes Wonder Woman 3 and a planned spin-off focused on the Amazons. Dill, you want to go ahead and read that quote?
She said, "I've really hit the pause, but because the truth is, where that plot line was coming from was our state of being 6 months ago. And so I want to make sure that I'm totally absorbing whatever the result of this pandemic is. We're not starting to work on that movie right away. I'm hoping to do this Amazon movie before we do the third Wonder Woman movie. And I may not do either of them. You never know what will happen in this world, you know. But yes, I think the plotline will stay very similar, probably. But I want to make sure it's influenced by all of this." End quote.
So, Jared, given all what you just heard, what is your thoughts on this? Do you think she's going to come back to it? Is she just overreacting? Is this anything to be worried about? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's the same comment that you're hearing from a lot of people, just sort of speaking airily about the state of the world at the moment. I think once 1984 is out there and the audience is reacting, she's going to be more into it. Kind of interesting with her comments about almost taking, I don't know, story cues from the pandemic. Like she wants to inject that into her story and maybe create like a positive message or something. Be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Dill, after reading that, what do you think?
I mean, I'd already forgotten they were wanting to do that Amazon spinoff. So that reminded me of that. And I was going to joke around and say, you know, that she's just making the third Wonder Woman movie modern day and set during a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
But and then I was going to say, you know, in Batman vs Superman, they had the newspaper on Wallace Keefe's wall about the super virus. So it's all coming back to Zack Snyder's DCU, man. This was the plan all along.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
But I do find where she said she doesn't know if she'll do either of them. So I wonder if, you know, this long process of Wonder Woman 2 Wonder Woman 1984 not being released for like over a year now, it feels like, or close to over a year. I wonder if she's just burnt out because of that, if she's had fightings with Warner Brothers over the film, if she isn't proud of the film, or I don't know what exactly that burnout is, but yeah. I feel like she's going through a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think she may be a little bit discouraged because it was on her. This was her decision to move off of... The movie would already be on HBOmax. Mm-hmm. It would already be home release if she hadn't said, oh, we want to push it to the anniversary. So there may be some guilt off of that. She may be questioning her judgment. I'm not sure. Something probably with her confidence. There's probably something with maybe I shouldn't be the one to make these decisions anymore. There was a lot of faith that they put onto her. And when she said, we're going to move it to the anniversary of the first film, to me that was a mistake because it was the shot they had was wide open. I don't know why you wouldn't have taken that shot. And like I said, we would have had it home video and on streaming services by now.
I honestly took it that they were going to do some tweaks to the film, but I don't think I ever heard of any reshoots being done during that period.
Yep.
So I guess that was a false assumption on my part.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes this whole push for the what was it, the June, it makes that really tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, because now this movie is going to come out 2 years after they wrapped principal photography. Possibly even if it gets pushed back even more after they did reshoots.
Yeah. It takes a lot of the momentum out of the movie.
And especially like So there was a topic that we had, and I pulled it off, was about how it was more expensive for Mulan than it was for Tenet because of all the advertising that they spent putting into Mulan. They started
Yeah.
doing that marketing push, which added to the budget. Really, all that Tenet's had is like a couple of trailers. That you don't see a bunch of posters and television ads and stuff like that.
Mm.
So they did a lot of marketing with this film too, and maybe she's just questioning her future because of that decision. Because not only did they spend a lot of movie on that, then they did some marketing. There was some marketing push for that movie because March, it was coming out in a couple months. Here we go. Let's start spinning off these trailers. Let's start pushing out some of these posters and some of this merchandising. There's Doritos chips at the grocery store that says Wonder Woman in theaters June whatever it is.
Yeah,
Right
and
now.
if you go back to last year, there was even a good marketing with the poster side of things too.
Yep. Yeah, so
I
maybe
like
that's
Dill's
plays into
point.
it.
Yeah, might be tepid waters between her and Warner Brothers. That's probably where that comment is coming from. Maybe
Yeah.
they're a bit annoyed with her.
Yeah, well, like I said, that was the faith they put into her because of how well she did on the first film, and they were like, "Hey, yep, okay, yeah, we're gonna back you up, we'll move it." And they're like, "Look what you did." They probably it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we have faith in you, and then it's like, this is your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Pretty
probably
rough.
playing off of it.
Yeah,
All right.
that can be pretty discouraging.
Yep. All right. So that wraps up all the main topics for the day. And now we're going to move on to the final thoughts, concerns, questions, and ideas that you can submit yourself. Go to mcmdebates.com. Go ahead and click on that button right at the top of the screen there, and you can submit your own. So we'll go right into someone that did, and that is Frank Bateman, who takes up most of these. And he wants to say Flashpoint. Do you think the Flash movie can do Flashpoint and merge the Joker, Robert, Batman into the DCEU, or you think they're going to go full blown multiverse and do Justice League after a couple of years and cast but with a new Batman? So you guys think they're going to merge Joker and Pattinson's Batman, or you think they're going to cast new people for a Justice League movie? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think leave Joker, leave the Reeve Pattinson Batman, leave them on their own separate paths. I mean, you can, I guess, with a Flashpoint multiverse, you can peek in on that, kind of how the CW did on their like big crossover where they showed a bunch of. I think they even showed the Burton verse in that, didn't they?
Yeah,
but,
it was
you can do
the
that,
guy that
but
was the cop or the reporter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't integrate it into the DCEU. No. As far as a new Justice League with the same cast but a new Batman, they might do that. I would love it just to have Ray Fisher and Henry Cavill back in their roles, right? But I don't know. I don't see if they're doing something like that. They're doing it with apparently Michael Keaton in the Burtonverse.
Yeah.
And maybe if that, what was it, the bringing Batgirl into it, was that was the rumor?
That was the
Right,
rumor
Larry?
that they're going to get that. So the rumor was that Michael Keaton was going to be the DCEU Batman after this, and they were going to have Carrie Kane, or what was her name from Dark Knight Returns, that was going to be the Batman as Batgirl instead of was Jessica Gordon? What's her name?
Oh, you made me blank
Gordon's
out.
daughter. Anyway, it's Gordon's daughter. Barbara Gordon. What do you think, Jared? What's your thoughts? What's your opinion?
Well, I got two things I want to say. Well, firstly, I know next to nothing about this Flashpoint story, but to me, it's just a good excuse to tell many stories and slap it into one universe. so you can like production wise, I mean. And then secondly, didn't the CW series kind of do this already? Like maybe that was the testing grounds.
Yep.
And they want to take that to the big leagues, which would be pretty sick.
They even did something further where they essentially, like, the CW has its own multiverse, and then like they pulled in Ezra Miller Flash to kind of hint that there's a whole other multiverse that's adjacent essentially to the CW multiverse.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, they merged all of them.
Yes.
Except for the movies. So all the CW shows are now in the same universe.
Yeah, it's all the CW shows are on one Earth, right?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like if I would want a Flashpoint like thing happening in a cinematic universe, I would rather Disney handle it, because I'm worried how Warner Brothers would go with that task. Bringing in multiple Batman actors into one film, I don't know. Can they do it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the rumor on the Twitters. If you look at the Twitter Bros, they're like, we're gonna have 3 Batman. We're gonna have Ben Affleck. We're gonna have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and we're gonna have Pattinson. And they're gonna be all Batman.
To me, the idea that they have to have a Batgirl because we can't trust the audience with 2 Batman, right?
Yeah.
That to me sounds like an actual Warner Brothers move.
That sounds like some boardroom stuff. Like, gentlemen, say how. Let's say how. We can't have these 2 Batmans, say, because people don't know, they'll be too confused, say, yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't take the Keaton thing as too, I took it with a grain of salt essentially. But when that came and you put that as perspective on it, I was like, shit, that does sound something like what Warner Brothers would do.
Yeah.
Bring back Keaton. He'll bring in all the people who love those movies. But
all the
actual Batman. We'll have a Batgirl. That way we can get away with it.
Yeah, all the 40 and 50-year-old guys that have kids now, they'll bring the kids in. The kids go to the theater, see? Yeah, see?
And
you just do that, and then everyone goes to the movies.
Powerful female character and another Batman. It's a win-win-win.
Yeah, it's diversity and nostalgia. Boom, what you got, Disney?
And not too confusing, Larry. Not too confusing. You got to hold the general audience hand.
Yep. All right, next question from Bateman again. He wants to know about ping pong. And we're not going to say any names. We'll leave it at ping pong. Thoughts on people like Ping Pong and Emergency Awesome who just open up articles and spend 20 minutes reading them in their videos and have some takes. Like Ping Pong had this theory that Supergirl was played by Sophia Boutella. Yeah, I don't think that's the girl. Yeah, I don't think that was it. Who was corrupted by dark side and turns into Grail. Basically, what are your guys' thoughts on YouTube channels and articles? I'll just make this more cohesive. What are your thoughts on people that misinform the audience and make clickbait articles and videos for the sake of gaining an audience?
Completely douchebaggery. It's lazy entertainment, and it's feeding fake information, which then people peddle to other people, and it just creates this ongoing cycle of stupidity. But anyways,
I don't mind having a section, maybe the occasional video where you just like, hey, what's some crazy stuff you think could happen? That doesn't bother me. But like, you take Emergency Awesome, and not only does every like video is like just weird rumors and theories that nobody else I've ever seen has had. I feel like all of his rumors are his own rumors. Like every time I come across his videos, it's like, man, I've never heard anybody say that before. And he presents it like as if it's like got some actual basis in something. And on top of that, he creates his own clickbaity, thumbnails that.
Yeah.
Like I saw one today. It had Doctor Strange's head on Iron Man's armor, and then another mismatch. And it's like what and I guarantee that has no basis on what he actually talks about.
Yeah.
In the video.
While we're still on this topic, before Jared, I'll get to you next. I hear you. While we're still on this topic for Emergency Awesome, the thing that bothers me about him is he'll have a thumbnail with Superman in a black suit, and the title will be Man of Steel 2, details confirmed. And then the video won't say any of that. It'll just be talking about some general stuff that happened on Batman News, not talking about Man of Steel 2, not talking about a black Superman suit, not talking about anything, just like how Henry Cavill wants to play Superman some more.
Yeah, exactly.
And it has like 100,000 views and 100,000 upvotes. Like, who are these people? Yeah. Who are these people that were told, hey, come in, we've got fresh baked pizza. You like pepperoni pizza? And then they're like, here's some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And they walk out going, this was the greatest meal I've ever had. Like, who does that? Yeah, that's what his videos are.
Crazy thumbnail, crazy video title.
Yeah.
And then he'll go over actual legit stuff. And then he'll throw in rumors and stuff that he's... I swear he comes up with them in a fugue state.
Well, hey, if it works, it works.
It apparently works very well.
So, Jared, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, in the Star Wars community, there's a guy called Mike Zero, and I think it was around The Force Awakens, maybe earlier than that. He used to report on articles, and it was just sharing information with other Star Wars fans. But then he started to get popular, and he started to introduce these wild theories, but they were heavily tied to rumors that other people were circulating. But he peddled it like it was his own, from his own sources, and like he was a legit source. And a lot of people take him seriously. And it's sad because in the Reddit page, Star Wars Leaks, someone will post one of his YouTube videos, be like, oh guys, look, this is what's happening. And so many people will just like post his name to make a point that this is Mike Zero. He's not credible at all. So yeah, just on the fact that people are taking information from others.
Kind of like a notorious person on the forum that reads nerdculture.com and then says, guess what I've been hearing, guys? I have sources. And he's literally just reading stuff off Nerd Culture. Like, there's been a war. You know the war. And he's still going. He's not deterred. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. All right, next question is Mario. Super Mario. It's me, Mario. He wants to know about Man of Steel. So this was something actually in the marketing for the movie. In Man of Steel,
that says Man of BS.
I'm not going to say that. Anyways, in Man of Steel, Clark has a beard that looks like testicle hair. Okay, but a beard nonetheless. Later on, it appears to be shaved. Can you explain what type of super razor he uses, or must we believe he burns his beard off with X-ray eyes in front of a mirror? Go ahead, Jared. What's your thoughts?
It's definitely a Gillette razor. We know how tough those guys are.
Yeah, because that was the marketing, right?
I'll tell you exactly what he does, Super Mario. He sharpens his fingernails with his teeth and scrapes it off, and then when he's done, he goes back to his teeth and dulls the fingernails back. That's exactly how he does it. I've talked to him.
Well, the only problem with that is I would perceive Superman as like a normal person in terms of how they interact with their own body. So, like, Superman punching himself would be the same as you punching yourself. Or Superman, like, pulling hair would be the same as you pulling your hair. But if you went up and you tried to do the same, it'd be different. For the X-ray eyes in front of the mirror, not only did that happen in the comics, it happened in Lois and Clark: The Adventures of Superman, the show, and it happened in Superman the animated series. That actually happened. That was the thing of like how he shaved is he would take a mirror and reflect his heat vision onto his and burn and singe his hairs off of his face. Then
yes, we need to talk about how nasty that bathroom would smell like after he gets finished.
it'd smell like burnt hair. Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
smell like shit.
He must have a good aftershave.
Yeah, he's got a really good aftershave if he's burning it
I'd
off.
like to see the trilogy of how he fine-tuned his abilities and shaving his hair with the laser beam eyes.
Yeah. Well, there was another theory from Kevin Smith, and because he was hired to talk and he was part of that promotion process for Man of Steel, that he took a piece of the ship because the ship's from Krypton.
Yeah, I was gonna. That
It
would
has-
be my thinking.
Yeah, it's got a greater molecular density, so he was able to chip off a piece of the ship, and kind of like the old straight razor, he forged one of those from a piece of the ship and he uses that to scrape his chin whiskers off.
Yeah, because even in the movie, they talk about taking the piece of the ship to a metallurgist, right?
Yeah,
And him saying that
Jonathan
it
did.
wasn't
He took
found
the
on
key.
Yeah,
He took the key.
yeah, the key. Yeah, and it wasn't found on any of the periodic table.
Yep. Yeah. So, Jared, you got anything else to say?
No, that's about it for me.
All right. So, another one from Patrick Bateman. He wants to know about Joss Whedon. What's your favorite Joss Whedon content? For him, it's Firefly and Dollhouse. What is it for you there, Jared? You got any favorite Joss Whedon content?
Man, I feel like I'm gonna be outed as a phony, but the only thing I can remember seeing of his is the Avengers films. I do want to watch Firefly. Just let me put that out there. I've had good things. I want to check it out. Just haven't got around to it.
Yeah. What about you, Dill?
Nostalgia purposes dictate that I choose Angel. You know, that was something me, my mom, and my brother used to stay up during the summer to watch at like 6 a.m.
Is that with the guy from Bones?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
David Boreanaz.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was introduced to Angel like from, I want to say, like my mom used to be a nurse, and so sometimes we'd hang out there with her, and so one of the TV channels they'd have on would always play Angel at a certain time. So that was my introduction to it. So I got a big nostalgia kick out of it. And then later I came to Buffy and I watched Buffy. But so yeah, I'd have to go with Angel over Firefly, which is probably extremely better than Angel. Buffy might be if you cut out some of the like season 5 stuff and stuff like that, but Buffy might be better than Firefly, but Firefly has the advantage of a shorter run and not getting sidetracked with lesser runs.
Yeah. I would side with you on the Buffy stuff because that was like that teenage years for me, and that's what everyone was watching, and so that I would say the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that was the introduction for me, and Firefly and Serenity, which the movie that came after Firefly, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that I like from him. I like the first Avengers movie. I think that's one of the best comic book movies ever.
Larry.
Yeah.
Do you know how I got brought into the Firefly stuff?
How?
So you might know this movie. It's a Kevin Costner movie called Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it?
I don't think so.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think his wife dies, and it's like she's like some apparition to him throughout most of the movie. Well, like my mom was on Netflix. This was back when we actually ordered them through the mail, right? And saw that there was a movie called Serenity that was a sequel to Firefly. And we're like, what? How could you make a sequel to that movie? So we we had to watch it, and then we get like 5 minutes into it. It's like, well, this is definitely not what we thought it was. But we ended up watching Serenity, and like I think a year later, we found the Firefly series and watched it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Final question. This is it. Final thoughts, concern, question, ideas from the audience. This is from Patrick Bateman again, and he wants us to fan cast some characters. So, cast actors for the MCM debates members. All of them are whatever. So, cast some people, guys that are ethnic based on the personality.
Tom Cruise for Dylan, definitely. He's got the same sort of work ethic and appreciation for things. Thank you, Dylan.
Wow, I
Good
appreciate
choice.
that. I don't think I have that level of work ethic though.
You're not going to strap yourself to a C-17 for a movie.
I can't learn how to use a katana that well in a 3-month period. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I do like being. I had a coach in high school. He used to call me Tom Cruise because I'd grow my hair out long and then cut it into a kind of crew cut.
Yeah.
And so he'd always call me Tom Cruise when I'd get the haircut and then when I'd have it out long.
Yeah.
But
right,
I would say I've got Samuel L. Jackson for the robot of Uncle Sam. And then the actual person behind it is Christopher Mintz-Plasse. That's the real Sam. And then DJ Qualls would be Rydog. And then Michael Cera for Digger because screw him, we're not getting Jesse Eisenberg. And then David Wenham for Larry. Alex Jones in drag for Marvel Troll. Henry Cavill, of course, for NVB. John Leguizamo, or I don't know how you say his last name, for Mario. Michael Pena for Kano. Noel Guglielmi. For any of you who doesn't know, he always plays Hector in every movie that has a Hector. Cholo Hector, that's him. He's going to be Sergio. Anil Kapoor for Bateman. Asif Manvi for Don. Jason Clarke for Jared. Hayden Christensen for Papa. Antonio Banderas for Nico. And the cameo king, Bill Murray, will be Gus.
Nice finish.
So what do you got there?
Me? Oh man, well, that's tough. Man, this is sort of question you need to think about for a second. So
yeah, you probably should have went ahead and wrote something.
I mean, I had a few people say that I remind them of what's his face? What's that guy from Guardians of the Galaxy? Forget his name.
Chris Pratt?
Yeah. This chick kept saying it. I'm just like, why? I look nothing like him. She's like, no, you do.
I think I've heard every white actor. Like at different periods of time. It's like you just think I'm white. That's all it is.
Say that I'm like Adam Driver, then I can die happy. That'll never happen.
I distinctly decided not to.
You're not in love with Adam Driver. You just want to be Adam Driver.
I want to be him. I want to be with him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You want him inside you, you know.
Whoa,
the common things.
Whoa,
Yeah.
slow down there.
This is like the Spice Girls song "When Two Become One."
David Byrne is an interesting choice. Man, it was crappy. He wasn't in. Did you guys know about that recent live chat with all the Lord of the Rings cast?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
It was really good. Definitely worth checking out. But yeah, he wasn't in it, which sucked.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah, I always forget that he's in Van Helsing too.
Yeah, he's the friar.
Yep.
That's who it is, Larry.
Yeah. I know it is. He was in 300. He was the guy telling the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, he's Dilios. Dilios.
Yep.
Wasn't Michael Fassbender in there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyways, all right, so that's it. That's the podcast. We are a little bit over an hour right now. We're doing pretty good for the Anam criticism that we got. And that'll wrap it up for everybody. Jared, is there anything what you want to say? Where can people find you? What is your Twitter, if you want to say anything like that?
Well, I
private,
don't want
that's up to you.
anybody. I don't want anybody finding me. I'm in Australia, so good luck with that. But I've been wanting to say, two things quickly. I just saw on Stan, the Aussie streaming app, that the Kevin Costner Robin Hood film is available, so I can check that out legally. And last thing, if you haven't seen or heard of the series called Ray Donovan, it's really good, and it's I think it's like 8 seasons now, and I've never seen a show that wraps up a story so well and moves on to a next story, but also takes what happened in the previous season. Like each season feels like its own sort of series. It's really good, and if you like John Voight, he's amazing in it. That's all for me.
Dill, what are your final thoughts? Where can people find you if you want them to find you?
I am at Undercov Camp Poll. I try to put Undercover Campus Police, but Twitter doesn't allow that many. On Twitter, it's Burt Macklem. If you want to shoot me up on Twitter. I mainly just do DMs. I don't really respond to people much on the actual Twitters.
Slide into his DMs.
Yeah, but you can slide into my DMs all you want. I got them on a text message thing where I get an alert for that.
Yep, and if you want to tweet the show, it is at DebatesMCM. That is at DebatesMCM. And if you get in touch with me, it's at LJW_314. That's where you can find me, and we appreciate everyone listening. Again, if you have anything to say, you want to check out the forum, you want to ask any questions, participate in the next show, just go to mcmdebates.com, click that button right there at the top of the screen, and just say whatever you want to say. Appreciate you, and bye-bye. One more time, I think we got it.
Uno más.
Deal, what's 14 plus 8?
14 plus 8 is 26, right?